Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is an extra update. This is the video I was going to do yesterday and I ran out of time due to a few other things that were going on. So I ran out of time to do it. So here I am today having an unscheduled visit. Now as you can see in front of you is my orchid windowsill. Okay, now this is the video to do with Roger's Orchid Tags, who has made it possible for me to do this, and for that I thank him very much. Right, I have a piece of paper with me here because I can't remember all 12 questions. I will put them all down in the description down below, so that when you need to do them, that would be whoever I tag at the end of this. When you need to do the questions, you can tell people the answer to the questions, which will then make a lot more sense than I'm making at the moment. Right, the first question is, where are you based? Well, I'm in the UK. I'm about 50 miles outside of London, in the southeast of England. So, you know, it's that kind of, I suppose, you know, we're on the M4 corridor. So, you know, we're along that stretch. Not far from Junction 10. How long have I been growing them? Under a year. Now that might be sounding a bit kind of, how come you're doing this? Well, if you look at it like this, I'm trying to start out. I'm having a go at some things. Now, if any of you have ever been following my channel, you will know that with houseplants, I am the kiss of death. So the fact that I've actually got 9 orchids that are all still alive in my care is kind of amazing. So I've been doing this for under a year. I bought one as a treat for myself, as a complete impulse, on a whim, because I like the colour of the flower. And to be honest, why does anybody usually buy a plant? It's usually because they either like the colour of the leaves, or they like the colour of the flower, or they like the shape, or they like this, or they like that, or a combination of all of those. So that's why I did it. I have had a fascination with orchids for a long time. As I've just mentioned, I have not been very good with house plants, possibly because I never had the time. I obviously haven't got the space, because with the 5 orchids that are up here on the windowsill, I mean, this is one of my brightest windows, because all the windowsills in this house are about ½ an inch wide. So this is one of my widest windowsills. You know, even the one in the bedroom isn't wide enough to take house plants, so a lot of my plants are downstairs. And if you saw my house plant tour, you will know where that is. That's downstairs in what is lovingly known as the family room, which is currently becoming my place for putting house plants on the windowsill, because it is, I have a north facing garden, so I'm quite lucky if I put them all in there. There's a lot of light in there, but I don't get direct sunlight. It does get some sunlight in there, but not an awful lot. Right. Yeah, number 3, that kind of answered the number 3. And like I said on the thing, how long have I had them? Which was your first one, and do you still have it? Well, yes, it's downstairs. It's my number 1. It's got no flowers on it at the moment. I will walk down there and show you a picture of that. Actually, if I hold up here, I'll go and get it. Right, this is the very first orchid I bought, like I said, on a whim, on impulse, and yes, I've still got it. And as you can tell, look, it's got roots coming out of it. I thought that one was a spike, but it's obviously changed its mind. Well, it didn't change its mind, I was just being very over hopeful last time. So that's my number 1, and as you can see, I can tell which ones I've got because I labelled them. So yes, and yes is the answer to that question. Yes, I have still got it. Question 4, where do you primarily grow your orchids? Well, as you've just seen, on the windowsill. On the windowsills that I have, which are not very many. I've got the one up here, the one downstairs, the one in the kitchen, and the one in the bathroom, and that is it. because like I say, the one in the lounge isn't wide enough. It's about half an inch wide, so it's not actually wide enough for a flower pot. Never mind an arching over flower or any of these guys here, because I'd knock them off every time I drew the curtains. Number 5. What types of orchids have I got? Right, I have precisely 8 Phalaenopsis and 1 Dendrobium nobile. The Dendrobium was a gift, a very, very precious gift from the children at school when I left work. They were so naughty to me, those people were. So a shout out to Embrook Infant and Junior School if you're watching. And thank you very much. It is still outside at the moment. I have every intention of bringing it in at the end of this month, because it's going to get to the point where it's getting silly. Right. How many do you have? 9. But that's because I've only been doing this for under a year, and to be perfectly honest, 9 is 8 too many, but you know, what can you do? The mini ones are so cute, I like them. So, I mean, I bought this one because I like the colour. I also bought that one because I like the colour, and that one was a gift. So, and like I said before on one of my other videos, these two, I haven't the faintest idea because I rescued them from a garden centre while we were on holiday at £2 each. So, until they spike, I have no idea what colour they are. So it's not a rough idea. That is, I have exactly 9. My pet peeve, 7 o'clock, number 7. The most YouTube videos I've watched, everybody possesses a greenhouse. I've never had enough money for a greenhouse. We do have the space, but if you're going to put, you know, power and stuff up there, and all the expense, and to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't go up there at all and wouldn't use it. We've had the you know, the lightweight greenhouses. We've had those, we didn't use them, they break. You know, it's just not very financially viable from our point of view. The you know, the foggers and all the other bits of equipment that either need to be electrical, which means we'd have to put power up to the bottom of the garden, which we don't have. So instead of just putting up a greenhouse and getting on with it, you know, we'd need power up there and that sort of stuff. And to be perfectly honest, if it's a day like today where it's been pouring with rain on and off, I probably wouldn't walk out in the garden and go up the garden anyway. So it's not worth it. It's one of my pet peeves. The other one is that a lot of orchid growing videos feature more experienced people. They don't, what's the word? A lot of them are in America, so they don't take into account our climate over here. You know, switch the air conditioning on. What air conditioning? It's called open a window. You know, there's that sort of thing. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I'm down in the southeast of England, and obviously it's milder here than it is up in, say, Leeds or something like that. So obviously, and for those of you in Scotland, you know, we get some very nice weather. But you know, although having said that, having spent a holiday in Edinburgh, you get some very nice weather as well. Number 8, where do I buy them from? I buy them, when I buy them, I purchase them from garden centres because it's the only place I can get hold of them around here. As Roger quite clearly decided in his video that, you know, there are no nurseries, or not many. The Thames Valley, which would be the one I would belong to, the Orchid Society, is out of reach for me because it's quite a long way from where I am. You know, so that's out of reach for me. So basically, it's the best place to find them. and okay, you have to be a bit careful. I mean, this one came from a garden centre, and this one, actually, if you look yesterday, I told you yesterday that it's beginning to spike. That's not the spike, that's the root. The spike is actually there. It's beginning to spike. This one I think will spike, but I can't figure out if that's just where the leaf joins it or if it is actually a little bump. It feels like a little bump, so we'll just have to wait and see. But that one came from a garden centre, because that one was yellow. And this one is a very pretty yellow. It's a lemon yellow colour, which is why I picked it up. This one came from an independent garden centre up in the Lake District, actually, on holiday, along with these two. So, you know, so that's where I mainly buy them, is from the garden centres, because that's the only place I've ever seen them. Don't go to IKEA. You know, and DIY shops we don't go into very often, and if we do, we tend to be doing man shopping. Okay, number 9. That was I'm not sure, purely because I haven't been doing this long enough to know. You know, simple answer. Right, my 5 favourite orchids. Well, as you might guess, number 1, number 5, which is the dendrobium outside, because the fragrance on that is absolutely astounding. I love it. It was a nice surprise. The fragrance on that is fantastic. I just can't wait for it to flower again so I can just fill my house with all the lovely fragrance. What does it say here? Number 3, which is this one, because this is the first one that spiked for me. And number 6, which is this one, which is the beautiful lemon yellow colour that I've never seen before. So, and I haven't got a number 5, or 5 of them, purely because I haven't got enough to do any more. Have I got an orchid related story, funny or not? No, not really, apart from the fact that this was the very first orchid I picked up. I picked it up on a whim, on a fancy, even though I have had a fixation with orchids for a long, long time. And over the course of actually trying out YouTube videos and stuff, it's become quite apparent that I like the epiphytes, because there's my Thanksgiving cactus, and there's all my spider plants, and the Thanksgiving cactus, and there is an aloe there, and also up there are my 3 air plants that arrived yesterday. So yeah, so it's, you know, it's the one story that, you know, it's got me into trying out different houseplants. I've always known I'm a plantaholic. I have always been a plantaholic, but I'm no gardener, and keeping houseplants has always been a struggle for me, so I'm quite surprised that I've managed to do what I've managed to do. But I'm going to keep going because I'm enjoying it. The other one, number 12, what advice would I give to anybody starting? Do it. Have a go. As lots of other people will tell you, it's an addiction, but then I can think of worse things to be addicted to. You know, you can spend as little or as much money or time as you want to, but all I would say is, if you're going to do it, start slowly. I started with the mini phals because I knew I haven't got the room for the big ones. I love the Vandas, I think they're beautiful. I would love a Dendrobium phalaenopsis, but I think they're beautiful as well. But I just haven't got the space. I haven't got the space for 2-foot tall canes. That's just not going to happen. I'm having enough trouble trying to house the Dendrobium that's outside at the moment, trying to find somewhere to put it when I bring it in for the winter. So it's, you know, but have a go, see how you get on. I've got a half dead one there that got root rot, crown rot. Yeah, but that one only cost me £2. So you don't have to break the bank, you know, to get on the thing. And a lot of the stuff that is said, hydrogen peroxide, you can get at a local chemist. you know, a lot of stuff that's talked about rubbing alcohol, which over here would be called surgical spirit. That's easy to get hold of at the pharmacy. And, you know, all the sorts of bark chips and all that. If you're into gardening, then you've got no problem. I'm not really into gardening, I just like the plants because I think they look pretty and I enjoy them when they're looked after properly, but I am not the gardener. Um, I enjoy what happens. I mean, I would love now, I'm desperately trying to get my husband to take me to Kew, to the orchid house at Kew, which we haven't managed yet, but I'm sure he will. And this, look at this. He's a sequential bloomer because he's just lost a flower today. But you know, have a go. Give it a go. Now the idea of this tag is to tag 2 different people. I'm going to have to tag Brad from Brad's greenhouse purely because I really enjoyed his thing on his Dendrobium nobilis, where he left one outside and he left one indoors. Tale of Two Brothers, I think he called it. That was absolutely fabulous. That was brilliant, and I'm basing some of what I'm doing with my Dendrobium on what he said, and some other things, and some obvious logic from what I've found out from books and stuff. And also probably Danny from Miss Orchid Girl, because all the tips you get from me on hydrogen peroxide and cinnamon and all that sort of stuff, a lot of that has come from her. I've also read other things on the internet that says about that, and I like the way that she's analytical about things. You know, she hears things about, well, the Dendrobium being the, you know, give it a winter rest. So you have to go from, as a window, the 31st of October to Valentine's Day, without giving it any water. But as she said, use your intelligence. If it's still growing, it's going to need water. If you're not getting the humidity it needs, it's going to need water. You need to look at that sort of thing. So from my point of view, those 2 people have helped me enormously in what I've been trying to do, which is basically keep these plants alive long enough so I can enjoy them and reflower them. Okay, so that's my orchid tag as recommended by Roger. I will also tag Roger Frampton in this because I said I would, and thanks to him I've managed to join in this silly dose of silliness, a bit of fun, but it might give you a bit of an idea of what I go through. And if you're wondering why I was running late yesterday, let me just show you. This little cutie here we rescued last week. He's called Russell, and he's just said hello. He's called Russell, and he said hello. Yeah, and he was rescued last week, so he's been trying to settle in. And because we were trying to settle him in yesterday, I was running a little bit late, and he kept deciding that I was the one who was going to feed him while I was trying to water all my plants. So that's why we were running late yesterday. Look at him, isn't he gorgeous? So, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more of these videos, please, this is an extra one, but please subscribe and please do like and share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.